First, man, congratulations to volleyball today. We had a win, but hey, that was a big win. So it's good when they're going to be hanging banners in Reed Arena. Hopefully one day we'll be doing the same thing. But it was a big weekend for Aggie sports. We were close yesterday, but what a season by our football team. I know everyone kind of gets a sour taste in their mouth when you lose the last one. That's going to be everybody but one team. But when you look back, that was one of the best seasons in A&M history. Fighting, getting to the playoffs. Congrats to the football team and Coach Elko, and then obviously volleyball getting it done today. I sent Jamie a text last night talking about not that they're playing in a natty, but the swagger that they play with rubs off on all the people here in Aggie land. And good luck to them, and I was glad to see them take it home. Game today. Positives in the game, we had 31 assists in the game. We wanted to hold them under 35% from the field, which we did, and we wanted to shoot higher than 60% from the field, which we did. Sometimes it doesn't feel that way because the game gets so chaotic. They got some easy ones, but we did do that. The negatives were we gave up too many offensive rebounds. They're athletic and they're tough, but just too many offensive rebounds. Now, they had some opportunities to get some offensive rebounds because they had some missed shots, but they got offensive rebounds and got to the free throw line. All the way balanced. No one played more than, I guess two guys played more than 20 minutes, so we got to get guys a lot of run. So that's that. The end. Appreciate y'all.
Do you like where this team is trending as you guys hitting the home stretch of non-conference play?
We've gotten better. We got to be able to guard the ball better. I mean, those guys were quick, but that's not the best shooting team. We had to understand what that was and not get beat off the dribble as much. So we have to do that, but we are getting better. That's for sure.
With Pop, just what have you noticed about him these last few weeks? As maybe he's gotten a little more playing time under his feet and had 15 points today.
Well, he's practiced good the past week, and so it wasn't a coincidence he played one of his better games here. Maybe his best game, and that's just what I've been encouraging him. And the playing time, and then the how you play on the floor is usually based on how you practiced. And it's hard when you haven't been healthy enough to practice, but he's been able to have put together good practices, and you saw him put it together out there. Obviously, he's a threat. He makes big shots, and some of these shots that he makes, sometimes that's in the SEC, some of maybe the only ones you can get off at times, because the coverage is so tight and he can get them off.
We were talking about the maybe rebounding better than you would like.
Yeah.
And I just wondered if you think that because y'all were, for most of the game, doing whatever you wanted to inside.
Yeah.
Do you just get such a lead sometimes that maybe guys lose some focus for it?
I don't know. They were rebounding throughout. I mean, I watched the clips at halftime. They're physical. We're not the biggest, most physical athletic team. That's true. I was watching some of them warm up, some of their starting five, and I was thinking about next year a little bit. I was like, man, we got to be a little bit thicker and stronger and bigger because you could see they're big right there, 7, I believe. If you switch uniforms, you wouldn't have known, right? And sometimes, there's a desire to rebound the ball that you have to have a reckless abandon to do it. And we only have one player in my mind that has that, and that's Rashawn. Like when Rashawn sees ball, he gets ball, knock 3 guys down to get the ball. But we have to have every one of our players go do that. That's why we started a different lineup the second half. We had guys leaking out. We have to gang rebound, have all 5 go get it. So I love to say it was I wouldn't love to say it's a lack of focus. That's an easier fix. But when it happens throughout a game, it means we got to work a little bit harder on it than we are.
Is that going to be your primary concern when you go into SEC play then?
What's strange is we've actually statistically been one of the better rebounding teams in the country if you track offensive and defensive rebounds in totality. Like that's what's been strange, But that's a lot of that can be just because the way we play is that the game gets so scattered in the full court. But when it becomes that half-court stalemate and they're just crashing guys and it's bone on bone, we're going to have to be able to man up and guard there. And I think rebounding and then guarding the ball one-on-one has got to be a focus for us.
But everything else today was you could have asked for more, right?
I can always ask for more.
How's Ruben doing?
He's going to the doctor right now to get it looked at. But, he had vision and everything. I don't think it's going to be stitches. It's just kind of bleeding out of it right there in his eye, so they're going to get it checked out.
What's just kind of the next week look for you guys? And, is a little time off maybe going to be a good thing for these players?
Yeah, it is. I tell you, I don't know if I just mentioned this in here out there. I was really concerned about this game. Like this is just a game every year that you just see someone get popped in. I mean, I mentioned when I coached mid-major basketball, we always got a team on this game close or whatever. And looking at the history, I was talking to Kyle the year they won the SEC. I think they lost to it was like North Texas by 10 or something at home. There's just always these games because guys are on spring break. They've got their flights booked. They're thinking about getting home. All that. So I was concerned about it just not playing well. Fortunately, we have enough guys that you have a player leverage. Right? You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to play, we're going to get someone else in there that will. But now that it's over, they can get to do what you ask. They're going to get a 4-day break here, and a lot of them are going to get to go home, which is really good for them. Some of these guys that have been unhealthy will also get a little bit time to rest and get healthy.
When you guys do get back, just what are going to be maybe the biggest prerogatives with just one non-conference game left before you start conference play?
Continue moving in the right direction. Continuing to all sports can be more complicated than people make it. It's just pretty simple. Do you play as hard as you can? Do you play unselfish? You know what I mean? Do you play as hard as you can all the time? And do you play unselfish? And when you do that, you're pretty good. On defense, look, this group's not going to win the freaking, this isn't going to look like our football team's defense. We're not going to win many games, 3-0 with this team right here. That's not what they are, but they got to max out on defense. You know what I mean? This group has to find a way to max out on defense. And so when we get back, the physicality and the game's going to become may be as up and down in some games, may not be. We got to have that physical presence to us where we feel we're confident we can get stops late and guard the ball.
What can you say about the effort from Rashawn to have a 31 plus minus?
I called him last night and just said, hey, man, I called a couple of our players last night and said, you guys, man, need to really make sure our team's ready to go tomorrow. This is a game, I'm telling you, people sleepwalk in and right down the line. I called several of our guys, and most of them were like, I got you, Coach, I'm going to be ready. So that's not what I said. I said, you got to make sure that everyone else on the team is ready to go. And so when I called Rashawn, I told him, hey, you got to make sure everyone's else ready to go. Trust me, I'm going to be on their ass, and he was, you know what I'm saying? And that's what you need. You need that presence from within. And he had that in shoot-around. He had that in shoot-around, that demand. And that's why it's such an important piece of what we do.
You talked about the guys being ready to go. This is, again, your best shooting performance on the season from the field. Do you think that played a big factor? You getting the guys going for the game?
Well, so I think a couple things while we shoot the ball. Well, we're passing it well. We're finally in shape. But I also think, some people can sit there and say, man, y'all, if you had looked at the game and said that we held them under 35% from the field, you probably would have been surprised. You know what I mean? You'd probably be surprised because it doesn't feel that way a lot of times. But it's just stylistically, it's just kind of how the game goes. But I think the thing is, when we're subbing and we can kind of lean on the other team a little bit, they're not going to be as fresh to guard us. You know what I mean? And so, if we can really challenge every pass on the inbounds and work them down the floor, they're going to have to find some place where they aren't at 100%. And I think that's when our offense in the second half has flourished. You saw early in the season, our offense in the second half was declining. Now you're seeing lately our offense in the second half is doing better than the first half, and that's the way that it should be.